Listen very carefully and follow my instructions. Prepare your brain for the Cortex Labs Nootropics podcast.
I gotta tell you, being an entrepreneur, I will not go through the rest of my career without taking nootropics. Aniracetam, piracetam, modafinil, Noopept, uridine monophosphate. I mean, phenylpiracetam, forget it. You can always have a better brain.
The Cortex Labs Nootropics podcast is about to begin.
Episode number 59 of the Cortex Labs Nootropics podcast. I am your host, Ryan Michael Bell. Thanks so much for being with me. Wanted to do a quick podcast. I mean, quick. I really want to make this like a 5 or 7 minute podcast about using nootropics, about really the byproduct of taking nootropics in the realm of willpower. And particularly willpower, I'll frame it in the context of willpower to not eat a lot of calories after you do a big workout. And throughout that period where you're trying to achieve a specific physique, but you're working out hard, so you want to eat more calories after you work out because you just spent a bunch of energy. And more, we'll skip the product pro for the large part and just do 50 seconds. See if I can set a timer. I'm actually going to set a Google timer for 50 seconds. You can actually go to google.com and type timer. Pretty sure it's timer. Yep, there you go. And then it provides a little application for you to do a timer. Let's see, we can do seconds, 50 seconds. Okay, time starts now. Number one, the Cortex Stack. Hey, right now, guys, the Cortex Stack is $27. What people have been doing is getting 2 bottles of Cortex. Because right now they're $27 a piece, comes out to right around $54-$55. Pretty cheap for 2 bottles of Cortex. Get it at livecortex.com. We've got 5 digital stack lists. They're nootropics guides. The most popular right now is the Beginner's Guide to Aniracetam, but all of them are digital and downloadable and are stack lists, just giant stack lists of nootropics information. We got a couple consulting services and nootropics consulting. That's a call with me. And then chronic fatigue syndrome consulting, which is also a call with me. Get all that stuff at livecortex.com. Well, we got 13 seconds left. What else? The Nootropic Starter Pack. Very powerful product. It's a bottle of Cortex and Smarter, Better, Faster, which is our digital nootropics guide that teaches you everything. It's like if you're new, get that. All right, that has been 50 seconds. Moving on to the podcast. Get all that good stuff at livecortex.com. 20% off everything right now. That's the Cortex Stack and our digital nootropics stack list. Okay, the bottom line is this. Willpower, and particularly willpower around not over consuming calories when you're doing workouts. Let's just start there. When you go to the gym and you're trying to achieve a specific physique, one of the things that happens in the gym is you push it. I mean, you push it hard as you gradually progress toward doing heavier sets and doing more cardio per session. You tend to. I mean, the only way to really grow in these areas is to push it a little further than you did last week or last time you worked out. Right? It's kind of constantly pushing the envelope. Well, when that happens, I mean, one of the things that happens after a hard charging workout, whether you ate a lot before it or not, seems to be just a massive desire for a large quantity of calories after the workout. And so like folks, typically, if it was up to, people, they would eat McDonald's, and sometimes it is, and this is what they do. They would just go eat a double cheeseburger, right? A Big Mac, large plate of fries, one of those apple pies, like an ice cream flurry or something from McDonald's, or like a similar meal at somewhere like Burger King or wherever, because that's what your body wants. You just broke down a bunch of muscle, you got to engage in protein synthesis, you just use a lot of carbohydrates, you're sweating, you probably sweat out a lot of salt, so you need water, you need salt. McDonald's meal is like great, right? But that mode, because you're deprived, because you're really just worked your body of a bunch of essential nutrients and otherwise macronutrients, you want to go eat a lot. And one of the things that I noticed about days where I'm taking particularly cholinergic nootropics like racetams and Noopept is that during these sort of after hours of a hard charging workout where I would typically want to eat more calories, I have the will control, like the ability to basically just eat less calories. Now, it isn't really great, and I'm not like thrilled about it, but I mean I do it, and I know I have to do it, and there's some thing in my brain that's different, right? There's some decisive, determined thing in me that's just like, I'm just going to do it, right? And I think my brain is able to sort of sit back and look at the logic of it all and recognize, well, this is a thing that I've got these cravings because I just worked out and spent a bunch of energy and spent a bunch of need replenishment from macronutrients. Now I'm definitely going to need some salt, some minerals, and so I've got to be careful because that desire so much because my body feels like it's in a famine because I just worked out all my energy. I got to be careful not to overconsume, right? And so like it's just this thing where I don't know, I just have more control of it. It feels like I can, just in analyzing the logic behind it, or what, why my body is so ravenously hungry for a Big Mac or something. It kind of just slows down the process. It slows down that process. I want to say like addictive process, but that process. It gets you to just go and raid the refrigerator or do whatever, right? And or whatever, right? There's always like whether it's eating or doing something that you like a lot, like you're addicted to Battlefield 4 or something. There is that very strong process that is trying to sway you to do it before you go and do it, and it's hard to beat that process for most folks, right? I mean, whether you get a strong resolve or not, I mean, it's hard for most folks, but certain nootropic compounds, particularly racetams and Noopept, other cholinergic compounds, tend to make that process slower and easier. So I could just sort of stop in the process and go, wait a minute, well, this doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? I don't want to overeat, and I don't want to eat like a giant thing of pizza or something after my workout, even though I want to and I would love to. I got to like portion it out, section it out, set some parameters on calories or something, and then go from there. That's just one example. I mean, there's so many examples in my life where I just am able to do things where probably I'd have a little weaker willpower, while taking nootropics than not. And that to me is one of the additionally useful things other than performance enhancement now and trying to stave off degeneration for later, trying to optimize systems for later, trying to optimize systems now. So, hey, 5 minutes, 48 seconds. I told you this should be a short one. That's it. I just wanted to kind of make that point to folks. Maybe that's your experience. Maybe it isn't your experience. But, look, if you take nootropics, probably try thinking about that. Think about next time you're in some situation where you need a lot of willpower, and perhaps, hopefully, if you've taken Noopept or some other cholinergic, compounds, try to exert some sort of, gap. Try to get a gap between that desire to do something that you probably shouldn't do, and you actually doing it with some logic behind why you shouldn't do it, and see if it makes a difference. Because for me, an updated cholinergic system via certain racetams and Noopept particularly seems to make a difference. Thanks so much for listening. Thanks so much for being with me. Check us out on the web at livecortex.com, at livecortex.com/blog, giant blog for nootropics information. All of our products, Cortex and all the downloadable digital nootropic stack lists are 20% off right now through the weekend. Get all that stuff at livecortex.com. No coupon codes, no nothing. Just go get it. All the stuff is discounted. Everything's discounted. Imagine that. It's Friday. Go get some great stuff. Get Cortex. What people have been doing is buying a couple bottles of Cortex. That's the most popular combo product. Then the Nootropic Starter Pack, which is a bottle of Cortex and Smarter, Better, Faster. That's our downloadable digital guide. Teach you how to use nootropics. All that stuff at livecortex.com. Thanks so much for being with me. Rock